Hey everyone, what's going on? It's Eduardo Aragon here at Kelowna Kia in the Okanagan. And just wanted to answer a question that one of my clients, Randy Brown, had asked. So Randy, excellent question. Thank you, man. Giving me the idea for this video. Took me a couple days to kind of come up with a very good way to demonstrate this. And the question is this: should I sell my car myself or should I trade it into a dealership? Now the question I got to ask you guys, and I'm just going to do this as I walk down this, is do you own the vehicle outright or do you still owe money on it? And the reason why I ask is this: when a client's got a vehicle, and say for instance it's this one here, it's a 2008 Chevy, 73,000 kilometers on it, manual transmission, we put it up online for $8,000. Now, it's not going to be the first Chevy that gets looked at. The first Chevy that gets looked at is the Chevy that's a 2008 manual transmission. That's $5,000. That's the first one that's going to get looked at. So you got to ask yourself, how much do I owe on my car? Okay, if I've got an '08 Chevy Aveo LT and I owe $8,000 on it, do I have the time to list it online? Do I have the energy to work it, have clients come down, essentially be the salesman? And do I trust them to pay me? Because if you owe money on your car before you can sell it to another person, the lien has to be taken off. I mean, unless you're a criminal or something like that. If you're not worried about breaking the law, you can sell somebody a car for whatever you want that you still owe money on. But the minute you cease making the payments, the bailiff is going to show up at that person's house and they're going to take that car from them. Now, in good conscience, and obviously you guys are all good guys, you're not criminals, but in good conscience, you have to sell the vehicle for at least what you owe on it before you can get out of it, unless you've got the cash to cover the spread, right? So if you only owe $8,000 on a car and you can sell it for $8,000, great. That's good. Sell it yourself in that case. But I just wanted to point out one thing to you, and that's that you're going to be missing out a little bit on the tax. Right? Because when I list this vehicle on for $8,000 on a private sale and I have a client and they come down and they come through and they're ready to make a purchase and they're ready to go and they're like, okay, Eddie, you know what? $8,000? I can't do $8,000. Would you take $6,000? Well, no, I can't take $6,000 because I owe $8,000. So I bump them up, I work with it, I find the right guy. Finally, someone's willing to pay me what I owe on the car. But get this, they have to pay tax when they register that vehicle. So they're going to pay on $8,000, they're going to pay 12% tax. Now, you mathematicians out there are going to tell me it's like $900, whatever. So what that means for you is that your client is going to try to knock down another $1,000 almost off the price of the vehicle. Or they can suck it up and go in there and register themselves if you really hold true and you're like, no, you go pay the tax yourself. So there's a tax savings. If you apply it on a trade-in and using the same math, you owe $8,000 on a vehicle, you bring it into the dealership offers you $6,000 for it, which is less than $8,000, but they pay the tax difference. So it's like they gave you almost $7,000, right? So they give you $6,500 or $60, whatever it is, tax savings. You still owe a little bit more on the car, but the dealership can cut a check to the bank for the difference. And where does that difference come out of? It comes out of the purchase price of the vehicle that you're interested in. So for instance, on this vehicle here, if you owe $8,000 on your trade, but I can only give you $6,500 for your vehicle, there's still $1,500 left owing. I can take it out of the purchase price of the new vehicle, out of the profit margin here, using factory incentives, profit margin from the dealership, or what have you, to cover that negative difference. My money is good. The bank will get paid. It's painless. It's easy. It's fast for you. Now, you got to decide, is that worth the $1,500? Now, I'm just going to walk to another vehicle here while you ponder that. Is it worth $1,500 or $2,000 or $3,000 to have a vehicle taken off your hands by a qualified, bonded dealership, refurbished, have new tires, new brakes, all the transmission flushes, all the maintenance that you don't really want to do, invested into the car, and then turned around and sold for a profit to another client? If that seems fair to you, and believe me, when you buy a pre-owned vehicle, whether you buy it here or at any other licensed dealership, that dealership by law is required to pass a safety on it. Now, who does the safety on the vehicles? A qualified mechanic does the safety on the vehicles. And that mechanic, it's in his best interest to ding the car for as many services as he can, because that's how he earns his living. And my brothers out there in the service industry, my brothers and sisters out there like Sydney Brown, Brian Gustafson, You guys put your heart and soul into this work, so I know you guys do really good jobs. So do you deserve to get paid to fix this vehicle up so that it's safe and reliable for my client's family to go in, my daughter to drive? Yes, absolutely. That's more than fair. So if you're going to invest 5-6 hours of your time plus parts plus materials to make this vehicle shine, well, then that's well worth it. So again, you know what, on the dealership standpoint, as the client goes, you know what, I don't care what you have to spend to fix these cars. I don't care about stuff like that. I only care about what am I going to get for my trade. And you know what, guys, I'm with you. I'm totally with you there. So I'm just going to walk you back here to my used car lot. And this is all my pre-owned stuff, but this is my executive pre-owned stuff. This is stuff that we took in on trade, but we refurbished, we cleaned up, we polished up, we did the brakes, we did the oil change, we did everything. Now, sometimes you're gonna have a trade that's not worth a whole heck of a lot to a dealership. We call them dollar cars because, it's, real value on that vehicle. There's no real value. They're worth whatever someone's willing to pay us for them. So these kind of cars, and I don't seem to have any right now, but I had an 05 Toyota Tercel that I'm trying to track down right now to show you. These kind of cars, those are the kind of vehicles that you can sell yourself. Oh, look, I'm in luck. I found one. Okay, this is what we would call a dollar car or a wholesale car. This is the kind of car that you might own. It's not quite as cool as that one there. That one's worth some money, but this one here, it's just not as cool, right? It's a late 90s, early 2000s domestic. Is it worth something to someone? Yes, absolutely it is. And there's avenues for you to be able to sell that vehicle, whether it's on Facebook or through the auction or whatever, where you're going to get more money than what a dealership can do. But I just want to explain how come a dealership can't give you, like, let's say, you see online, hey, these things sell for $2,000. Why can't I get $2,000 for my car through you? And the reason why a dealership can't give you $2,000 for a car like this is that the dealership, as a licensed and bonded dealership, has to be able to turn around and sell that to another consumer in good conscience. And we simply can't, guys. These ones are too old. They don't have warranty. They're just a rolling problem because you're going to have to make repairs, maintenance, upkeep on them. And it's a lot of work and it's a lot of money, and it puts a lot of liability on the dealership. These are the kind of cars that you should sell yourself. Don't trade these into the dealership. And I'm not saying be bad. I'm not saying be shady about it. No, what I'm saying is that these are what, in the industry are also called mechanic specials, like a fixer-upper. Because there's a lot of people out there that are willing to give you $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 cash for a vehicle just like this one, whereas a dealership just can't do that, right? Because that person's going to take that car, they're going to drive it till the wheels fall off and done. And they know. You know what? My first car was a car just like this. I paid $750 for a 1976 Toyota Tercel. I knew full well that I was going to have to do some work to it. I knew that I was going to do the brakes. I knew that I was going to put tires in a new battery. And I drove that car and I got about a summer and a half out of it, and it fell apart and it was done. So you know what? This kind of car is the kind of car that you should sell yourself, because whereas you come into the dealership and try as I may, at the end of the day, I can only sell it for what the vehicle is worth. And a wholesaler might give me $500 for a car like this. Maybe $1,000. No disrespect. It's a beautiful car, brand new. It was a $22,000 car, $25,000 car, but it's just not worth that to a dealership. Now, but can you turn around and, shine it up, polish it up, put it online for 2G and get $1,500 for it? Yes, you can. So in that case, if I can only offer you max $500 max, and you can get $1,500 selling it online yourself, why would you trade it into me? Even with the tax savings, right? Tax savings, it's a $500 car, so you're only saving $60. So if you're selling someone a car for $1,500 and they have to pay the PST GST on it, well, that's only 12% of $1,500. It's $180. It's nothing. That you can absorb that in the price of the car, knowing, okay, you know what? I can still give this kid a deal, get a young Eddie out on the road, enjoying life in his brand new Ford, whatever the heck this is, Taurus, or it looks like an old Crown Vic. But yeah. You can do that, and that's what you should do with these types of cars. So if you have something like this kicking around your driveway, oh, Taurus SE, look at that. If you have something like this kicking around your driveway, those are the kind of cars that you sell yourself. If you've got a 2013 Ford Raptor and you owe $50,000 on it, That's a little bit tougher to sell it yourself because the average consumer does not have $50,000 kicking around in a bank account. They just don't, right? So what happens is then they have to get a check for you, bonded check. And if I'm going to hand over 50 grand to somebody, I want to make sure I can own that car right that second. I'm not just going to give a suitcase full of money over to somebody and never see them again and then be sitting with this car that I don't actually own. So there's a big level of risk involved, right? When you're dealing with big transactions. The average car buyer, the average consumer that's willing to pay cash for a vehicle has about $10,000 in money, whether that's on a personal line of credit or a credit card that they can just, they're not stroking you a check for $10,000 unless they're 65 years old and they're my great uncle Phil. He could stroke you a check for $15,000 because he's worked hard his whole life. But your average car buyer, 24 to 40 years old, 45 years old, is going to be purchasing a car with a line of credit or a credit card, which, by the way, guys, if you're paying 18% on a line of credit or a credit card and you're buying a car, that's a silly idea. Don't do that. Come see me. I'll finance you for 10 grand. But I digress. The question was, should I sell the car myself? And the answer is, it depends. It depends on, do you have the time to market, say, an older vehicle like this, market it online, put it online, turn around, the trust factor, are you going to trust somebody to bring you $5,000 for this vehicle? If they're giving you $5,000 cash, then great. If they're bringing you a cashier check, be careful. Maybe go to the bank and watch the cashier check get drawn in the bank. Make sure you've got your transfer title papers with you in the bank. That's a great place to conclude a transaction like this. I know the tellers might look at you like you're weird, but guess what? When you're dealing with $5,000 and people that you don't know, guys, be smart like that, right? Be smart. My name is Eduardo Aragon. I'm a vehicle sales consultant here in the sunny Okanagan, internet director of Kelowna Kia. Thank you, Randy Brown, for asking me that question. I hope it was informative to you. I'm sorry I kind of ran off at the mouth, but I did have a camera person all set up for this. And then you know what? It got sunny, it got hot, people had things to do, but I certainly appreciate your time. Any and all questions, put them in the comment section below. I will make sure to address your questions promptly. And guys, thanks a lot for watching these videos. Really appreciate it. Couldn't do this without you. You're the reason why I get up in the morning. You're the reason why I can pay my bills, feed my family, put my kids through school, pay some taxes, put away some money there for a rainy day. And I'm really thankful, and I'm very, very blessed to have clients like Randy Brown asking me these questions, making me grow as a person, and putting a little knowledge out there, which isn't coming just from me, but from all the experienced car people that I quizzed about this for this video. So hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you later.